Hey guys, my name is Cullum with Built to Venture. So today I quickly want to go over the Rocky Road Outfitters sliders specifically for the Toyota T100. I purchased mine actually last year, but I did not install them till this year. Reasons being, they are considered to be bolt-ons, and I received them, wasn't quite happy with the structure of the bolt-on design that they have. And basically put things off until I finally ended up actually welding them in myself. So goals of the video: go over the sliders and the design and bolt-in intent and how that mounts, and then I will go over what I did to mount them to the truck. Another reason being, when I did buy the sliders, there wasn't much information on the sliders specifically for the T100. I didn't see any other reviews anyway, and I sure as heck did not see any pictures of how they actually mount. I did call Rocky Road Outfitters to find out. Maybe I didn't ask the right questions or just did not understand correctly, but yeah. So hopefully this video will benefit you guys. Now, starting out, how do the sliders bolt to the vehicle or mount to the T100 per Rocky Road Outfitters design? Okay, so this is the front side of the slider. It comes with technically two mounting brackets to the frame, one in the front, one in the back. They run 1x1 tubing from the main slider itself, which is 2-inch hitch tubing. They run this 1x1 tubing, a couple different iterations. You have one tube, two tubes, which then runs to 1/4-inch plate, and the 1/4-inch plate actually bolts to the frame. They provide two self-tapping bolts. Now this does sit lower than what they design, than what is designed. Typically it is designed to run and nest up high. The next thing is they design it, you have this sort of cross bar that actually bolts to your rocker panel weld flange. So as you can hopefully see, you'll see a series of bolt holes. So you weld the rocker panel, they provide a template, you drill holes, and then you you bolt it to the flange. So why did I not go with that design? Number one, the T100 is not specifically a unibody truck, so to say. The cab is designed to be isolated from the chassis, meaning where the cab mounts to the chassis, there are bushings. The main point or main reason behind those bushings is to help isolate vibrations from the chassis going to the cab, therefore providing a little bit more of a comfortable ride. I think it also provides a little bit of flexibility, but I don't know how much exactly. So by tying the slider to the rocker panel as well as the frame, you're now removing that isolation. I don't like that. I like the comfortability, at least for what it has. And I also don't like the fact that they are relying solely on that rocker panel for structure. It should come off the frame. The frame is your main, it's your ground, so to say. So, oh yeah, one other thing with their design, as you can tell, I've actually dropped the slider about 1 inch, maybe a little bit more. The reason for that is Rocky Road designs these sliders to be really low profile. Okay, I get it, looks nice, but if you're gonna put a heavyweight slider on your truck, a slider is supposed to protect the vehicle, right? So yes, you're from dropping off ledges, smashing on rocks from the side, stumps, whatever it might be. You don't want that close to the vehicle because one, it doesn't allow for any flex. I mean, this is probably the material that make it out of is, I doubt it's going to break or bend, but if there is any flex in the chassis or anything like that, when you go to open your door, you will not be able to open it. So as you can tell, I only have roughly an inch of clearance between the door and the slider. When I had initially mocked up the slider per Rocky Road design, I basically had no clearance, zero. I couldn't open the door. It would rub on the top of the slider. So that was a concern, especially if you go and you high lift off the slider. Well, let's say you've stuck on a ledge and maybe there's a tiny bit of flex. That means I would definitely not be able to open the door at all. It would rock into the slider or ding into the slider. So with all that, I decided to mock up my own. Well, I decided to actually weld the sliders to the truck. I was going to completely cut off the Rocky Road Outfit brackets, but I decided to make do with what they are for now. So as you can tell, I welded the plate. I dropped the sliders down, like I said. I welded the 1/4 inch plate to the chassis, gusseted it from the back side, added a gusset to the top of the chassis and as far out as possible to the 1x1. Added another gusset for the forward and reverse directions. And what that does is that helps, since you don't have any mounting locations out here, as the slider wants to act like a moment arm, that gusset prevents the vertical movement. This gusset prevents the rear movement, forward and back movement. And again, for the rear mount, I have also done the same thing, top and bottom, as you can tell. Now, I probably will go back and add in a third mount, but that will happen down the road. Okay, and one more thing, or another thing. Again, as you can tell, I mean, by design, the sliders are made to be really low profile. It would be nice in the real world applications, if you're actually trail riding and using sliders for what they're designed to be used or what they're intended to be used, for this slider to sit out more. The reason for that is you use the slider as a pivot point on tight trails when there's trees or rocks or ledges or whatever it is that you need to basically pivot the vehicle off of, but prevent body damage. That slider acts like a barrier. Well, with the so close, it basically doesn't act like a barrier. If you're even off camber any way at all, you will end up denting the vehicle. And hence, as you can tell, that is exactly what happened a weekend ago. The other thing, it's such low profile, it doesn't make for a nice step. The slider doesn't make for a nice step. I would like it out more for my personal use, so that way I can physically step up on to the side of the truck and step on the roof. Yeah, you can make do right now, but it is so narrow, it makes it sort of tough, and it's actually pretty dang slick. So, what else? What else? One more thing I had to do with the sliders is the length from front to rear. I had to chop the rear section off. Following the Rocky Road installation instructions, I mounted the plates to a position where they were snug against the frame and brought the front of the slider to the front of the rear well, or front section of the rear, how do you say it? Or set the slider flush to the wheel well as best possible. Now what that did for me is that left the rear section of the slider running into the wheel well, and then when my vehicle flexed up, the slider actually ate into the tire, and you can see major chunks. So I hacked off about 2.5 or 3 inches of the slider. I made it flat, welded on my own end cap. Now maybe that's not a problem for people with smaller tires or a stock truck, I don't know. But I don't think the sliders needed to be quite the length they were. Not the biggest deal in the world. What else? Okay, so again, my overall impression of the sliders, it's a hitch steel tube followed by, I think it's a 1/4 inch DOM tubing on the outside. I mean, that stuff's heavy duty. You're definitely not gonna bend that. If you have, you've done something serious. So if you're gonna have something that heavy duty, it is heavy. My guess, I don't know exactly, but my guess is that each slide is about 80 pounds, maybe more, maybe 100. They're heavy. So if you're gonna have a heavy duty slider like that you wanna put on your vehicle, do it the right way. Hopefully you're gonna use it for real world applications. Therefore, you want the slider designed to where it is practical in real world applications, not just to sit on the vehicle and look good. If you want it just to look good, go ahead and save yourself a lot of money and buy yourself some a lot lighter and cheaper side steps. But again, that's just my 2 cents. I hope you guys at least enjoyed the video a little bit. I hope it helped you out. Maybe gives you a little bit more insight or a little bit more information to help make you guys make your own decision on whether these sliders are the right choice for you. So again, my name's Cullum with Built to Venture. I'll see you guys next time.